didn't happen. There has to be contingency plans. So it all depends where you look at things, really, man. So Nolio bid by the Spurs rejected. If Arsenal are interested, Ed, you better hurry up. Good player if he stays fit, but he's a bit bandooli with the injury, so I'd probably leave him, man. 2 big ACLs at 23. Oh, I'm always going to give the benefit of the doubt, but he wants to play on a bigger stage than Brighton. Man's just played in the World Cup. He's in his peak. I get that. He's not even on the Aubameyang bad egg level. I think Trossard is a good signing, but we can take the extra cash to build our midfield. I hear that. So, yeah, man, I think we see already. I mean, I'd love Camavinga, but Real Madrid be smoking serious crack to let him go, man, at this moment. Great if this deal comes through. I am happy to hear this news. He's going to bring another dimension to our game. This player is a quality acquisition, and if you want proof, look at the hat-trick he scored against Liverpool. I hear that. He's good depth. I can't lie. He's not better than Martin or Saka, but players hopefully unlock a new level for him. DG, he's playing at Brighton. To be honest, they wasn't really hitting numbers like that. That's true. And again, you'll play a lot better, and there's a lot of tax that will be applied when you're playing with more quality players. 100%. I think I scrolled all the way up here. Elite comments, people. Elite talking points. You lot make the platform. Don't forget, people. We're watching Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur at 7:50 today, people, as well. Need to act quick on Declan, or we'll see him get his debut at Chelsea next week, probably. And I mean, go all you want for Declan Rice. Have the 70, 80, whatever they want. But forget the man, the profile. Declan Rice is primarily in the team to win the ball back, be that box-to-box ball-winning midfielder. If that don't work, can you find someone either English or someone from whatever country that has the same skill set? Because as much as I'm having Declan Rice, great technically, Premier League proven, captain at West Ham. You know, we've got people that have been captains or roles in responsibility. But Declan Rice, it's one of the worst kept secrets. He's going to divorce from West Ham sooner rather than later, contracted until 2024. Do I think there's a project we could sell him? Great. We're in London. Arteta is building things. We might be in the Champions League / we're in Europe, you know, more than West Ham, you know, but Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, maybe teams from abroad, they could all sell projects. So if you want them sort of players, like with the Mudryks, the Rices, the Rafinhas, you have to get into a fight, really and truly. Pretty sure this guy will be balling us to the Prem title. Arsenal in the Premier League battle. I don't check the title race. We just need to keep winning. How you feeling? Oh, I already saw that. What I want to know is who is going to step up into the Partey role one day. Patino, very different profile, but I do back Charlie to do a thing. I remember when I told you that you wouldn't get to the top based on the fact that you're always trying to stay safe and in the middle, never being outright giving your opinion. Damien, I appreciate your opinion, but I would say you're wrong, man. I think I'm doing quite well, man. And I think, you know, I'll take that. But I mean, I'm nowhere near. I've only scratched the surface of my potential. I'm not just going to come out and cap because you want to hear things. Pretty sure those that can understand what I'm actually saying have got my opinion. But I mean, been on UEFA, been on the BBC, been on ITV, been on Sky Sports. What else have I been on? Been on Arsenal.com. So, you know, without even hotting myself as well, there's some influential people in the world of football that F with me. You know, there's certain, I'm not going to talk of my thing, but there's certain people, I've even done videos about them and things like that. You know, a lot of parents, a lot of agents, a lot of footballers, a lot of executives, they've up with the guy. So I'll take your opinion. I appreciate Damien, but do I take their opinion and do I look at the facts? Or do I listen to someone talking crap on the gigahertz, probably on a sticky keyboard? I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate your paragraph. Grown man sending the next man paragraphs. It's a bit crazy, but fair enough, man. I can't argue with facts. You can, and you think I'm capping, especially with the platforms, you can go out and look at them. You know, done even pieces on mental health and things. And this is before I've even scratched the surface, before the graphics are even lit and all of these things. I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm not trying to do anything, but let's look at the facts. I can either look at them opinions or I can look at yours. And this is why in life, people, you take opinions and learn from them. In a weird way, Damien, you know, ain't that the devil's name? You know, that's why you should listen to them, man. I take your opinions, but it's down to me whether I want to take them in or not. So one love, man. One love, Killy. One love. But yeah, man, it is what it is. You know, I say what I think. I'm not going to talk something I don't believe in, but don't know. Trossard don't want to war with Arteta. You'll get swiped like Tinder. Brighton see Spurs and Chelsea as rivals for Europa / Conference League places, so they probably won't sell Trossard to them. Listen, let's just help them out. Calcedo, help us out. Or if you're gonna, cool, we're not probably gonna spend 70 million. The next batch of the McAllisters, the Trossards, the Benjamins, the Basumas. Obviously, Basuma didn't really work out. The next batch of them sort of guys, Brighton. Remember who gave you 50 million for Ben White off the back of one Premier League season? We thank you for Benjamin because he's doing well. But remember, yeah, let's build this relationship together, innit? Welcome to another Arsenal transfer daily, as Arsenal are in advanced talks with Brighton for 20 million. Personal terms are agreed according to Romano. I hear that. We signed him what we said. He's already, the minute he signs for Arsenal, he's the best Belgian in the league. Same way Onene is the best Egyptian. Big up DG. This is the first news we've heard about his attitude. Let's not judge him harshly off this. The club might be trying to treat him bad because he might be pushing for a move. Amen. There's always three sides to the story in this case. Leandro, Roberto, and the truth. There you have it. Trossard is a solid player. I think we need him for squad depth. I'm with it, man. I am with this. Must be both because I've never seen you, man, as rivals outside of a postcode. I must be something else. Bro, these fans, we need depth. Don't people watch games? I mean, fans are weird. They said, oh my God, Smith Rowe is going to be in trouble. We can't sign a winger because of Saka. And these are the same fans that say, oh my God, we haven't got enough depth. Football's a squad game. It's never been more of a squad game than now. Look at City. Now, City's an anomaly because of the money they spend and the players they bring in. But you see the depth. Our very own Zinchenko, he might not be, I wouldn't say he's not one of the key players for City, but he might not be the biggest shirt seller at Manchester City last season. But there was points, him, Gabriel Jesus, they came on and changed the season. I'm sure the last game of the season against Aston Villa, Zinchenko came off the bench and made a massive difference. And that happens in everything. You have sometimes you had someone like Ray Parlour at Arsenal, wasn't the most glamorous, but was a big game player. And that's why he's one of my favorite Arsenal players after the typical names. So, yeah, man, age thing is overhyped, my guy. Obviously there are some cases where age is a problem, but for me, it's more the skill set. What are they reliant on? It's how they look after themselves, which evidently I'm not privy to because I don't know what Trossard eats or doesn't eat and whatnot, but it is what it is. And I just think you need some experience. As much as I like this youngster thing Arsenal are doing, you need some experience. That's why I'm a big fan of why we have Granit Xhaka, why we have Thomas Partey, El Nene in his little role and that. So, yeah. Man, are moving like Trossard is a scrub. Bet these man want Diaby because he's stat padding in Arse Liga. Oh, you're moving mad, man. We don't need players that can be starters in this window. We just need depth. And Trossard, I hear that, but at the same time, we do. I don't think Trossard wants to cool on the bench, if I'm honest. Same way Eddie don't, same way Martinelli didn't. No one should, innit? Every training session, give Arteta a headache. There's been plenty of bad headaches when we had Mustafi and Socrates. Give him a headache. I got to get Trossard in. Let me put him on the left. What do I do with Martinelli? Do I put him up front? Nah, that means Eddie and Jesus are in problems. Saka this, that, the other, and that all around the pitch. Give my man a headache. Give my man a headache. Ramsdale, White, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, even Odegaard were seen as underwhelming signings. Look how these turned out. Arteta is a good coach and can improve the level of players. Tell him again. Arsenal want to be on Man City's level in terms of whoever they bring into the game. Yeah, but we're not going to drop 100 million on Grealish and etc. Really and truly. We just need to play. We just need to be a better club than we were. From what I've seen of Fresnadar, looks good. Conceding experience. Bring him, man. Trossard has attitude problems. It sounds like Xhaka 2.0. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's got attitude problems. He's had a disagreement with someone. It don't mean you've got an attitude problem. It just means, yeah, man. Trossard is technically sound. At least a 50 million release clause, or I'll try and negotiate lower than that, man. Big up DG, hit the likes. Unless we are prepared to abandon the FA Cup and Europa comps, we need players like Trossard who can slide in for Saka or Martinelli and have the level drop and not have the level drop significantly. Be a good signing, man. And, when you look at Odegaard, when you look at Jesus, when you look at Zinchenko, when you look at Saka, when you look at Martinelli, when you look at Smith Rowe, when you look at Fabio Vieira, when you look at Eddie Nketiah, when you look at Benjamin White, he doesn't look it. But when you look at Tomiyasu, when you look at Saliba, even to a degree Ramsdale and Gabriel, these guys are still kind of defining themselves as footballers, more so the attackers. Trossard, like with Xhaka, even though Xhaka's reworked his role, what you see is what you get in it. We know you can play across the front 4/5 positions. We know your thing already, in it. It's not, you don't really need to develop and all of those sort of things. Cut the Vlahovic noise. When you're banging goals and assisting, even doing your defensive duty, no reason why you shouldn't play. Amen. And Trossard does all of that. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Let's see if there's any updates with Fabrizio Romano. Let's keep our eyes and ears open to anything that's happening. I completely forgot. He just talked about Arthur. I completely forgot Arthur was at Liverpool. I can't lie. We don't need a Martinelli replacement. We need people who can come in for 25 minutes and do a job. I don't think he's going to come to do that. But in theory, if we're not bringing in, away from Trossard, in theory, if we're not bringing in wingers that shake up the thing or just players that shake up the thing, we're in issues. I see Rice coming in and replacing Xhaka. I think he's more playing a 6. I mean, I'll back Arteta if he thinks he can rework him and that. But Declan Rice in the 8 role can do it, I guess. Rice might be cheaper if West Ham get relegated, probably. We need to wrap the Trossard deal quickly, get this Fresnel deal wrapped up, and get a replacement for Partey to finish the window. Trossard is great for that. He's a fighter too. I mean, even if he's average, I don't think Trossard's average, but as long as you're competent, confident, and consistent, I don't care. I've seen plenty of average players at my club and other clubs win league titles and do things. Some of the players held in the highest regard in this game, without getting into it, are average. And there's a lot of players that are ballers, but you don't do it every week, or you don't do it out. If there's 4 games in a month, you've done it for 1 week. Where's the other 3 games? Zaha can push Martinelli for a starting spot. You gotta give the Zaha one a rest, man. I can't lie to you. I think you gotta give the Zaha one a rest still. What's up, DG? Can't we pay a club hush money to get a deal through the door? I mean, everybody's got someone in it, so I don't think it's possible in today's day and age. To a degree, I mean, there's obviously been a level of interest with Trossard. He's been linked with us already, but I wouldn't say it's kept under wraps. But we've woken up today and say, "Raw, like Trossard's arriving at the club," sort of thing. Where you look at Mudryk, Rafinha, it was very protracted. They could have been made into them pursuits. There could have probably been made. Vlahovic failed pursuit after Melo, probably to a degree. Yuri Telemans. These things could have been made into a Netflix documentary, really and truly. So yeah, man, really good signing for depth. Don't really understand I don't think there can be negativity around it, man. I understand why people might be underwhelmed with the other names we've been linked with, but we could do a lot worse. I believe that Trossard brings quality into the final third and will be unbelievable signing with Rice in the summer. We're eating good, bro. Listen, until Dons are holding this shirt saying I've always watched Arsenal and blah, 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 I don't know about Declan Rice. I don't even know about Trossard at this moment in time. Leandro, make sure you get on, you're getting in your car and coming to do your medical, innit? I never said he's not. Appreciate that, my guy, man. Appreciate that. Top man DG put respect on his name. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Amari Hutchins is my guy. DG, who do you think is a good replacement for Uncle P? I would love someone just as clean on the ball. I don't know if he's clean on the ball. I would love Declan Rice. I would love Manu Kone of Gladbach, really. He's a bit different, but yeah, man. I'm definitely not a goal. I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday, man. I don't know about haters. Don't mean nothing to me, man. Like, haters are just fans. If you're watching what I'm doing, if you're sitting there, if you're typing paragraphs, then love is hate and hate's love. Either way, on my deathbed, when I'm thinking about a legacy I've tried to achieve with my kids, I'm definitely not going to think about a man called Damien Kelly. I appreciate the support. For anyone that's going to sit there and type that, there's some sort of love there, man. But I appreciate that, man. The hate makes me unstoppable, really, and the love makes me untouchable, man. It is what it is. He's allowed his opinion, Your baby mom's allowed opinion. I bet she's sitting there saying, don't say that. He's a nice lad. It's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool. If he talks like that to strangers, how's he talk to you, lady, man? I mean, YouTube finances are not all they're cranked up to be, but I could show you a nice time. I only need one night as well, ma. Building relationships with everyone could be smart. I want Calcedo. He's a monster and his motor is impeccable. Crazy. Ray Parler, the Romford Pele. Amen, man. What a player. Hopefully, he can teach Martinelli and Smith Rowe some things as well. Realistically, there's a lot they could learn. DG, you doing a watch along for City Spurs? Yes, I am. Live from 7:50, 10 minutes until kickoff. That will be across Twitch and YouTube, folks. So make sure you're there for that one. Appreciative in advance. Brighton has been the new Bolton for Arsenal since their promotion. Trossard has been a major part of that torment. Thankfully, we smacked them up this season. I'm thinking this could turn out to be a very good signing. I mean, it's a shrewd signing. Like, obviously, we want sexy signings and all these things, but he just has to be the right player, which I think he has. I think he complements us a lot, man. Man said he's not going to create problems for defenders. Bit harsh. You're just going to have to prove you're on. Eddie is not Arsenal level. He may be, he might not be. Fundamentally, he's playing for Arsenal right now and doing quite well. We support and praise and critique where appropriate. Shout out Cape Town, South Africa. I didn't diss Eddie and Ketty, my guy. Oh, you're relating to that. Rice works better in a double pivot. Well, you'd have that, Arsenal, wouldn't you? Big up DG. On the last day of the transfer window, Arsenal was scrambling over Douglas Luiz. Arsenal still need a centre mid and striker. We currently only have Eddie. I think this left wing is a distraction in my honest opinion. Trossard's going to surprise a lot of our fans, I think, especially under Arteta. I'm Belgian, so I've seen him. I think it's a good. We could do a lot worse. I think a lot of fans, if this Mudryk stuff weren't here, they would be talking a lot different. I think we're waiting for the summer to drop the bag on a winger, which is smart. Champions League football and potentially a title and become more attractive. Title? Arsenal in the title race. I don't check the league table, man. What about Moussa Diaby? It seems a myth, my guy. Yeah, I saw Eriksen catch up to Zaha. I was like, raw. The Wan-Bissaka tackle, great. And the Elise free kick, what a goal. De Gea even made some good saves. But I was thinking, raw, Eriksen caught up with Zaha. I was thinking, wow, what's going on there? One love for the super chat, my guy. Slow and steady, DG. Big up yourself. Admire the consistency and dedication. People with no vision or work ethic are too loud these days. As my nan used to say, empty barrels make the most noise, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate your support, let alone the dollars, my guy. It means a lot. Low risk, high reward, in my opinion. There you have it. Does anyone know what's going on with Pepe? I think he's Nice's top goal scorer, one of those. But apart from that, his days are probably numbered, really. You know, that loan was probably just designed to convince Nice to take him permanently or put him in the shop window to alert clubs to just, in my opinion, Pepe is going to go for next to nothing next summer, innit? We just want to get him off the books, man. DG, in the summer, we should sign Ruben Neves of Wolves. I wouldn't mind it, man. Am I bugging or I just don't see the hype with Diaby? Good player, but I don't see enough to, you asked me about Kareem Adeyemi, Zaire Emre, Tell at Bayern Munich, Jude Bellingham, Musiala at the time. They're guys I get hyped about. I wouldn't say I get hyped about Diaby, quality player, but past that, I know, man. Bro, I listen to mainly because I know what football has forgotten about performance and not price tags. Not sure what you're trying to say there, man. A lot of fans didn't think Jesus was a good signing as well, DJ. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that's true. But anyone that was there bugging out, man. DG, who is your favorite Arsenal player of all time? Rocky Rollcastle for me. Shout out Rocky, RIP him as well. There's a few in it. Thierry Henry, it's got to be Thierry, Ian, Vieira, Cole. I know people look at me like Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole was everything to me until he did the pagan thing. Roberto Perez. Cesc has a special place in my heart. Tony Adams. Big fan of Ray Parlour. Saka's up there for me already, not with them because he ain't done what they done, but I'd say Saka's already in that sort of realm regardless of what happens. There's a few still. Yeah, man, I'd say Thierry Henry / Vieira because they were everything to me. Dennis as well, can't forget him. I'm happier with Trossard than I was for Mudryk. I'm just happy we got someone, man. DG, you watching now and I say PSG at 5 p.m. Big up Messi and Ronaldo, but it's a no from me, though. I'd even watch that. Do you think the focus on the left wing is to free Martinelli to be a central option? Not necessarily, but if Martinelli can learn how to play up there, then we've got another dimension in it. Trossard is very good in and close to the box, very useful for matches where we struggle to break down the opponent's low block, and I'm sure Arteta sees it this way. There you have it. Any thoughts on Jonathan David or Nico Williams? I'd more want to take a chance on Williams. I like David, but he's not really that wavy, man. Go get Zaha and Telemans and we'll win the league and have a great squad for 2 to 3 years. Zaha can stay over there, man. Fans unhappy with Trossard just because he isn't fashionable, no tats and low profile on social. The guy looks a substitute teacher but can hold the ball a bit harsh. He does look like a substitute teacher now that you said that. But yeah, man. Big up DG, Ken, your boy, appreciate you. Do you rate Elise and can he be back up for Saka? I like Elise a lot. The problem is with Elise, I'm not saying you have to score free kicks every week, but that ability, he does play within himself a lot, really. And he didn't have the best of 90 minutes. Let's be real in that game against United. He was one of the better players. But there's a lot, even his defensive work rate, he'd have to improve. Because, yeah, you got your team, you scored a terrific goal. And he's not alone, but several Crystal Palace players, including himself, switched off for United's goal. Bruno Fernandes, not a single person has followed him into that box. So and I expect that, but he's a terrific player with a terrific future, really and truly, people. And I expect that. And one thing's for sure, they're gonna make healthy money on that initial 8 million release clause he had at Reading. I wish we picked him up there. I think I done a video on him. Not that I know everybody, but he's a player for bloody hell. You're a decent player. Unique character, man. Absolute unique character, man. It is what it is in that regards. Let me see if there's any other comments. What other affordable alternatives are right now? Bring on experience. Just behave for Mikel. There you have it. Just behave yourself. Everything's going to be all right, man. Everything will be all right, man. Brighton got the next Trossard lined up. Probably, man, as you would be a forward-thinking club like them. Telemans or Kessie, I'll probably pass on both of them. If I'm honest, I prefer Telemans still. Trossard can play across the front three. There's your short-term fix. Tell him again. It was an absolute goal, man. I mean, inside, Elise was he's feeling elite in it, but like he didn't come on, man. He's a relaxed character, but he was clearly just acting like he's no emotions, man. You clearly felt that was wavy. I'd be happy with Kessier. Really gone off the Kessier boil. Blessings, DG. Keep up your good work and don't mind haters trying to pose as advisors. The sky be stepping stone for us all. More levels to come, God willing. I appreciate it. I don't pay them no mind. Water of a duck's back, man. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. Like, so it is. You're allowed to have your opinion. But where, that's been one twat. We've got 286 likes, people. We're flirting with 300. Can we get there? Keep your opinions forthcoming. Should I spin the block for any updates on this toss-up business? Didn't think I'd be live with you lot today. I knew I'd do a video, but didn't think I'd be live. But this is why we love the transfer market. And that's why you probably saw one of my videos. Not that I'm saying Edu has or hasn't done good in the market, but give the club the luxury of at least waiting until the end of the market. Had we not have signed someone, assuming we don't sign someone, because as we've seen with Mudryk, we can't assume that this is done. And I don't quite think we're going to get hijacked for Trossard and things, but holding shirts, signing, talking about how you watched Arsenal your whole life and Wenger this and that. Until they do that, it's a that thing. But you want to see signings in it, really. And if it helps us, who cares? If Trossard, again, so I don't check the league table, but allegedly we're in a title race. If Trossard scores the goal that brings us our first title in the Emirates, or scores in the, scores in these big games, or helps us in the Europa League, in the Prem and the FA Cup and whatnot, you're not going to care. We've made riskier moves than this, I can't lie. We've done a lot more stupider things. I don't see this signing as more risky than when we signed Willian, than when we signed Cedric, than when we signed Pablo Marie. Of course, their names are not quite there. But in terms of the level of consistency to the wages and things, it proved costly. To give in Aubameyang a new deal, to bring in Nicolas Pepe, because I took a lot of slate for Pepe and Lacazette, two players that I really like. But I told you, things would happen. I told you, Lacazette would never score 20 league goals for us, and we can't just rely on him alone. And I told you, we're taking a risk with Pepe. He's really just had an exciting 18 months, people. And again, where you look at Trossard, people, again, if we've been following, obviously Edu and Arteta probably weren't there when we've been looking at Trossard from his days in Belgium. But if we have, then I'm pretty sure there must be a USB stick with with old scouting reports on Trossard. And obviously a blind man can see what he's done in the Prem for Brighton. But for what it's worth, people, big up AFC stuff. Leandro Trossard has been on the radar for Arsenal for at least 4 years, and the club have even had explanatory talks with him while the player was at Genk in 2019. Wasn't that when we signed Nicolas Pepe? Arsenal, though, at the time thought Trossard was too raw for the top level of the Premier League, and that's an element of scouting. That's why football's a weird game. Arsenal might not quite think he's ready. Brighton might think he has, and then it is what it is. It's not always finding a player and moving for them straight away. A lot of scouting is about waiting, about seeing certain things. It's not just about he's a good player, he can do a million kick-ups or beat a player, sign him. It's not how life works, people. But it tells you that there's an element of loving him in that regards. Shout out Lauren, another one of my favorite Arsenal players, and an Invincible. Happy 46th birthday. And big up you lot for your support so far. Arsenal haven't yet sent an offer for Leandro Trossard, but talks are ongoing at club level. Brighton hope for around 30 million euros, while Arsenal wants to reduce the fee a bit. So I hope we could sign him for Man United, but just based on that, and Brighton are difficult to do business with per se, that probably tells you that we might be moving in the right direction. We're not probably there yet unless there's mad developments in the next whatever many hours, man. So it is what it is in that regards, people. J1 love for the super chat. Uncle Ratty is my number one and always will be. But I used to watch him at Palace, and he's the reason I started following Arsenal along with Palace. So we shout out Ian Wright for that one, man. Shout out Uncle.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. Chelsea in for Trossard. Chelsea have a bid 50 million for Trossard. You're probably chatting shit, but if they have, cool, innit? Come on, man. Grow up, man. We're scrapping for whatever's left, got to be honest. But hey, sometimes there's bargain buckets. Sometimes we've tried to cut corners with Marie, with Cedric, with Runners, and it ain't worked out. Sometimes we bought cheaply, done our due diligence where Tomiyasu's in regarded. I'd throw Zinchenko into that now, 25 odd million, and it's worked out. Hopefully Trossard can do the same as well. I think this is a clever deal for the club. The guy's quality. Steve, you're not alone, man. People forget Arteta wouldn't approve, unless he sees that the player will help the squad achieve and evolve. Everyone makes mistakes, but I agree with that. We need to move forward in a big way as a club, not settle for cheap deals. I mean, boy, we've seen big money signings not work out. We've seen cheap deals excel. We just need to buy the right players. And crucially, we won't know until he does the business or doesn't. Neves or Kessié, and I'm happy, don't see Wolves letting him go. Of course, the Spurs fan that attacked Ramsdale's a coward, man. And you've probably lost your job, going to get a criminal record. Hopefully you get snuffed in by some Arsenal fans or some Spurs fans for making you move mad. Late to the stream, but we'll catch up later. There's timestamps to match. Just glad we signed someone. Trossard is decent. Pray it works out well. The only thing I'd say is he's technically not been signed. One love for the super chat again, my guy. Big up yourself, DG. Always enjoy your words. Stay strong, kings and queens. Chris, appreciative. And I hope everyone else is doing well, man. Elise to Arsenal was at the ground yesterday. My boys have got a season ticket. I mean, he spent time at Arsenal and Chelsea as a schoolboy. Apparently, Brighton have a winger who's on loan who they're saying is as good as Trossard. I mean, if he's as good as Trossard, throw some, put some money, ask for less for Trossard than if you've got that in it. I love a good bargain bucket. I appreciate you for loving the content, man. I would love to get Ruben Neves, really. I think he'd be a cut price addition. I can't lie. Deng, I don't rate off Okafor like that. I'll hold my hands up if he does the bits and pieces, but I don't rate no Okafor like that. Decent player, but don't move the needle for me. Like, I need to see a bit more, really, if I'm honest. Also, what Brighton consider top quality and what Arsenal consider top quality are going to be different things, respectfully, levels between the two clubs. That as well. Omri, Bergkamp, Wright, Rocky, Perez, Thomas, Vieira, Adams, Dixon, shout out Dixon, Bold, Smith, Keon. Shout out Keon, man. I'll always love Keon, especially after, how he dealt with Ruud van Nistelrooy. I remember that game vividly. DG wouldn't have been best to take him on loan instead, but they're not going to entertain a loan. He's got an option of another year's contract's running down. It is what it is. I mean, in theory, yeah, because if it doesn't work out, God forbid, then you send him back packing. I hope we get Rice in the summer, but I also hope there's several replacements or alternatives would be the right word lined up, because when these players are held in high regards, it's a madness. West Ham got Danny Ings. Moyes is in panic mode. West Ham struggling to score goals, man. Danny Ings does that. So he provides that. 312 likes for the 600 of you locked in. I appreciate that. Keep it going. Keep your opinions going. Let's see if there's any other Arsenal news, because the most jarring thing is finishing a live stream, seeing an update, and having to go again. It's jarring. Proper jarring. No one cares. Respectfully, don't care what Rio Ferdinand or what Simon Jordan have to say about Trossard or anything in relation to Arsenal. We've spoken about Zanolio. PSG could make moves for Saliba and Martinelli. Let's see what these things are saying. That was in the last hour. Let's have another browse as well. We're doing what we need to do in pursuing Trossard. Good price, solid player for a few years. You can never win. Let's be honest. There's an element. There's an element of people getting things wrong, in it. Like, I mean, of clubs not being able to, what would be the word? Like, not being able to win. You overpay on Mudryk. You don't get Mudryk a signing like Mudryk. You got no ambition. You failed in the market. You overpay. You've overpaid. You don't sign anyone. How could you be so stupid not to sign anyone in the market? We're down to our bare bones, etc. You sign Trossard, people start getting a bit snooty and things like that. So it is what it is, man. So, yeah, man. And I think this market has shown where in relation to Trossard and Mudryk is that nobody really knows, because with Mudryk, we'll never know how close or how far Arsenal truly was or how much he really wanted Arsenal, etc. Literally 48 hours ago, we heard Trossard's been offered. Nobody's on it. There's been a change of heart with Arsenal, whether that's because targets we've gone for previously, it's not attainable in January. Maybe we thought, you know what, Trossard, we like him a lot. He's our safe bet. We'll go and pursue Mudryk. We'll flirt between trying to bring Ferran Torres, Rafinha, all of these sort of guys, Neto, whoever, and then Trossard's a safe bet. We know he wants to leave for a few months. We know his agent's been offering him around. We now know that him and his manager at Brighton, things are happening. We know his contract situation and all of those sort of things, people. I mean, we could do a lot worse, man. 28 last month as well. People don't check themselves when they say things as well, man. Like, it's people see 28 years of age in footballing terms. You are getting on a bit, but it's like, oh my god, get his walking stick. You know, he's got arthritis and that right now. It's all mad. Like, people need to calm down a little bit. I'll take Trossard if we splash the cash on the centre mid. If we get Milinkovic Savic to replace Xhaka, then Xhaka can be Partey back up as a centre defensive mid. Oh, I think we got out of there. Arsenal need to be more proactive and bold in getting targets. They really want. Stop trying to lowball the selling clubs. I think everybody does that. Would rather we took Zaha. Correct me if I'm wrong. Trossard is much more useful to our title push than Mudryk would have been, although long-term, obviously, Mudryk is better. I don't know, in the sense of, yeah, you're right, Mudryk isn't as good as he'll be at 28. Trossard could get better, but it's kind of what you see, what you don't. I have to agree and disagree with that because, respectfully to Trossard, maybe, but had we have got Mudryk, we're not having this live stream at this moment in time. So I'm not too sure. Trossard will be a great signing. You can't play Saka, Martinelli every single game and just expect them to never get injured. Touch wood, it never happens, man. Let's go for whoever you're saying. I mean, Trossard will be on some decent wages, man. Trossard has 38 goals and assists, Prem proven nearly as much as Mudryk has appearances. About time we buy from the Prem. I mean, to be fair, we have been buying from the Prem. That is how Arsenal behave, but this, if Arsenal need a trophy, they must buy or else they'll run down the aisle. If Leao doesn't sign a new contract, I think we might have a good chance to sign him in the summer. All other big teams stacked on the left-hand side. But, you know, certain teams have a million wingers and they'll still be even more greedy, really. Still need a centre mid and a striker. Sounds like Arsenal are scrambling around for someone now after their main target slipped away. That is the true definition of scatterbomb transfer tactics. Or you just have contingency plans. In an ideal world, you get Mudryk. You try to go for Rafinha based on in the summer. I'm not saying anyone's better or not. And then you have to pull a rabbit out the hat. There, you know, January's a reactive market. He wants to leave his contract. There's a situation there. You know, maybe whatever wide targets you're assessing from now till the summer, if you are, you go out and get them in the summer, innit? So I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, there obviously probably is an element of desperation, but, you know, what's necessarily wrong with desperation? Because, again, the club wouldn't be able to please everyone. You don't sign anyone, man, are going to go mad. So, yeah, again, looking at some transfer news here, people. Allegedly, Arsenal transfer news, PSG could make moves for Martinelli and Saliba this month. Give us the bread and you can have what you want, people. PSG want to sign Arsenal players Martinelli and Saliba and could make a move to sign both players before the end of January transfer window, with PSG feeling they need new signings. PSG, I mean, well, yeah, Saliba, first choice centre-back. Martinelli, first choice off the left-hand side. Yeah, with the Europa League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and a lot of football to be played, makes a lot of sense. You know, you'd have to pay a lot of fees. Pardon me. Allegedly, PSG are now expecting to lose out in their battle to lure Skriniar to PSG. He's, you know, apparently struggling. They're struggling to convince him of a move to France. Obviously, Saliba's got history in France, him being French for one. Martinelli's drawing admirers from all over. And obviously, both of them, there's contracts going on. We've taken out extensions in both their deals. I don't believe it. You know, you give us top bread, can have what you want, really. What's this? Expert issues worrying Gabriel Jesus claim after Arsenal update all of a sudden. Gabriel Jesus has suffered a setback in his recovery at Arsenal and will target March or April as an ideal time to make his comeback. That is the view of medical expert Bin Dinnery, who runs the Premier League's injury sites and has a background in injury and data analysis. I don't know. I mean, if you don't work for Arsenal, I'll take of it with a pinch of salt. Arteta did say he'd be back in a few months. He said, I mean, we want Jesus to be fit in it. There's no point rushing back if you're going to suffer a setback. But it is what it is. We're just going to have to get on with it, as much as it's a bitter pill to swallow. And, you know, Nelson, Smith Rowe, Jesus, the quicker they're fit, you know, in many ways, word to Arsene Wenger, they're just new signings like Trossard. With meniscus damage and the extent of his problem, there was always a big likelihood that Jesus' recovery gets pushed to 3 or 4 months. All of a sudden, Arsenal are looking in the region of March to April as the new timeline. It doesn't really come as a huge surprise, but Arsenal would have been hoping to trim a couple of weeks off it if things change. And obviously, you know, for Arteta, who was talking about Smith Rowe playing as a false nine, he's got to love the the option of playing Trossard up there, man. Like there's so many combinations. Trossard can play off the left, play off the right, do the false nine thing if Eddie needs a rest. You know, Martinelli and Trossard, you know, one could play up front, one couldn't. Obviously, there's a lot to like about him. But there are no guarantees with injuries, and recovery timelines tend to be best case scenarios. Overall, February is now out the question for Jesus, and Mikel Arteta will be desperate to get him back around March so he can play a part in what will be a pivotal period for the Gunners. Allegedly, Real Madrid are interested in 15 million Arsenal target. This is probably in relation to Fresnadar. We know he's got interest from Real Madrid, Newcastle, Manchester United, Liverpool, Juventus, Napoli, etc. 18 years of age. I mean, we've spoken about him enough, innit? Allegedly, Fabrizio Romano's tweeted something. Has he tweeted? What's he tweeted? Okay, so there's a slight update, people. Leandro Trossard has accepted all conditions offered by Arsenal on his contract. All other clubs interested have been informed of his decision. You better not pull a Mudryk, mate. Personal terms are 100% agreed. The clubs are expected to complete the agreement very, very soon, as revealed today. So there's probably going to be several updates where really, in theory, nothing is an update, not just by Fabrizio Romano, but by everybody. But let's just hope and pray in it, really. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards, people. You know, personal terms agreed. So yeah, man. Hopefully there's significant progress, and by the time we next do a live stream, you know, he's agreed. And the best case scenario is done by 12 p.m. tomorrow, so he can be on the bench for the United game. I mean, surely Trossard's a contingency plan in that regard. Then if we've gone and we've tried to get Diaby and they've said too much money, Rafinha 100 million euros, Pedro Neto not like the summer. It hasn't even him and Yeremy Pino. There's been no links. Ferran Torres wants to stay at Barcelona. Then you're literally just going to X out all the targets. You know, this guy too much expensive. Lost out to Chelsea for this one. Trossard, someone we've watched from Belgium, someone we know is Premier League proven, someone we've been offered once again. It is what it is, man. Big up DG, always objective content, appreciative. Gonyato would be lit. He scored a cracker yesterday, innit? Mudryk was a nice idea, but he became a shiny object. The thing we had to have concerned that we went that deep down the rabbit hole for him before Chelsea rescued us from rescued us from an unwise expenditure. Who knows, man? Hope we get at least one more player to have a better squad. I hope we get a centre. If you bring Trossard and you bring a next centre mid, because again, with Partey, El Nene, and Xhaka, big up all three of them, but they're the only three, excluding the Vieiras, the Zinchenko's, the Smith Rowes, the etc. etc. I like Lukonga, but I can't fault Arteta for not betting on you because we need to win games. It's as simple as that. And right now, you look brazy. We're not seeing Jesus till May. Forget about that guy. Smith Rowe ain't fit till late March, April. Like, man. New Trossard update just now. Decent signings. Can't go wrong. In terms of options available, in Jan, Trossard was one of the best Prem proven. Will fit our style of play. Good backup option. Realistically, we're not signing Moussa Diaby in January at 100%. Why are so many good players out there? Why are they not signing today, the 19th of Jan? No new entry. Please stop this hide and seek. All right. People seem to forget there's a reason the January transfer window is very difficult. No one wants to lose their best players midway through the season, which sees you pay a lot. I would pay 20 million Telemans before the contract expires, or Rabiot. Rabiot can stay at the yard, man. We were after Emerson, but we got Tomiyasu. Is that a bad thing? Tell him again. Or we was after Neto, we got Ramsdale. Or, you know, I'm not saying they're not as good. We got Benjamin White when we missed out on Conde. What about Kane? I mean, Kane would be welcome at Arsenal, but, you know, well, I've seen Sol Campbell do a thing, but myth. Trossard has 38 Premier League goals and assists. Nearly, I've already seen that comment, but nonetheless, pick you up. You can forget about the RB, really. And to be fair, when you look at one, I'm not saying Trossard is a worse or better option than Diaby or Rafinha, but when you just look at the skill set, forget who you would want and the shiny new toy element and all of that jazz. Rafinha, based on if you just seen him play for Brazil or Barcelona, cannot play really off that left-hand side. It's right side or nothing. The other name, Diaby, look at him statistically, he's a dramatically better player off the right than the left. Now, I'd back Arteta to be able to coach them to play on both sides, but Trossard might not be as glamorous. He can play on the left and play on the right and still affect the game to a suitable level, which, considering the experience and the money and everything considered, it makes more sense, really. Because then it's not just one of the other. Who really knows, man? I like how clubs are being somewhat vague on our injury timeline. Arteta is learning not to rush players back. I mean, we've seen that on a couple of occasions. Don't let Romano know our business, man. Really excited, honestly. Now get us a centre midfielder, and it's an acceptable transfer window. How much would Rice cost in Jan? Just do it, lol, bro. If they're saying 80 million in the summer, you've got to rise up 100 right now, innit? Forest took Danilo. We took too long. To be fair, we did hear we moved away from that, innit? I'm still worried we have little to no links with actual good midfielders. We need to sign 3 or 4 players, in my opinion, in this window, even if some are loans. I mean, in an ideal world, you would sign a winger, a striker, a centre mid, and a centre back, but probably unrealistic. In a best case scenario, we might have got 3 signings. If Mudryk and Felix happened, we might have, and it happened early, might have got a centre mid. I think 2 minimum would do me. You have Trossard, that's great. I think you get me a centre mid, and we can palm everything off until the summer, innit, really. Would love to see Sammy develop. There's a player there, needs a mentality upgrade to get himself going. Exactly, and I would love it to happen for Lokonga, because then our thinking kind of shifts in midfield in relation to him. So I hope if he does get some opportunities, he takes it. But as I've said, right now, if we're just chasing 3 points, it's Xhaka, Partey, El Nene after that. And then I'm looking at Odegaard, Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira to play in that. We'll change it around and do the little 8 thing before I give Lokonga a chance. I think you're a decent player, but we want 3 points first and foremost. As much as it's a family-orientated club and there's a mad togetherness, there's a harshness of 3 points. We have to put the best players out there. Arteta has to look after his own job. If Arteta wins games, you get praise. You get, you do dumb stuff, you get criticism. The first thing is the 3 points. And right now, Lokonga does not help us get 3 points. As you say, my guy, unless he's holding up the shirt and signed on the dotted line, then you can't say it's a done deal. There you have it. So we can talk about him. But again, if anything's taught us this window, nothing's done yet, innit? Arsenal, please cash in quickly for Trossard. We need this trophy at the moment. Lokonga is just jogging around. I just think Lokonga just looks like he needs a lot more self-belief, if I'm honest with you. He just looks like he needs to believe in himself a lot more. And I'd say for me, the biggest thing I like about Trossard is that you are on it at Anfield. That Arsenal have improved away from home. You're on it against Liverpool. One at Stamford Bridge, one at Brighton, one at Leeds. Let ourselves down at Old Trafford and St Mary's. But generally, we've been decent away from home. One at Shite Hart Lane. Boy, I want to win at Anfield. Like, that's the one. Like, if I could trade in, I ain't going to say trade in Spurs, but if I could trade in one of these great performances across this season, even like, would I rather beat Liverpool at home or away? I'd rather just win, but just Anfield, man. Like, for me, that's really, you got to be able to go to these grounds. Anfield, we've been holding too much L's there, innit? Last couple of times we beat Liverpool, probably in the Cups. And Trossard's on it against Liverpool. So, let's do a thing, man. And you got to welcome Brighton to our place. So I hope he's got a chip on his shoulder with De Zerbi. And when we play Brighton, he bags a hat-trick himself. I might have to put him in the FPL team, people. Trossard might be the guy still. I can't lie. Are we live? Of course we're live. Check Fabrizio again. Another update. Romano's going to milk this, innit? I've already seen that. Love for keeping me updated, though, man. Mitoma seems a bit like Mudryk. Mitoma seems to be the guy on everyone's lips now. I'm not saying he's not, but he seems to be undoubtedly the one now. And he's been 2 minutes at Brighton, excluding the loans. DG, who would you pick, Ethan or Sambi for 3 points? I mean, Sambi's more experienced in it, so, and I don't really think it's fair to expose Ethan to that, but in a nice way, I'd probably put Ethan in the furthest sort of midfield 3 and go with them, but probably Sambi, man. Come on, Ethan's a youth, man. But I do back him a lot. Call back Balogun. Nah, man, stay over there at Reims. Do what you're doing. Keep, come back in the summer. Show Arteta what you've learned, and then we make a decision whether you leave permanently, whether you're involved in what we're trying to do this season, or next season, or you go on loan again. And again, Trossard in a nice way is bad news for a lot of players because again, some players might be 10, some might be strikers, some might be wingers, but only 11 players can play. Only X amount can be on the bench. And depending on how we line up our front 4, including the 10, or who's on the bench, that has a knock-on effect. And you look at Trossard, he can play as a false 9. Arteta might sit there and say, I got Jesus, I got Eddie, Martinelli and Trossard could play there. Balogun, you might have to leave or go out on loan, or he might be able to mix it up. Even Kalajinac better than Sambi, crazy. Am I the only one who doesn't rate Sambi at all? Where's his talent? He can't pass or defend. Surely we can't just get rid. Sometimes we just have to nip guys in the bud. But yeah, man. Big up DG. Do you think the focus on the left-sided players to free Martinelli to be a central option? Maybe not so much this year, but maybe it's something that could happen. You know, if you want to try Martinelli through the middle, Trossard can give you something off the left. I think Martinelli can do that long term, but with our pursuit of 3 points and just needing to get 3 points this season, I'd probably leave that one alone for now, really, if I'm completely honest with you. Prediction for the United match. Hopefully we win 2-1, man. I know a lot of people are getting excited that there's no Casemiro. They beat us without Casemiro. And at the end of the day, regardless of who is there and who isn't there, you still need to go out there and bag the 3 points, innit, people? And, you know, 3 of our best results last season against Man United at home, ironically, Chelsea away and West Ham United, Chelsea away and Man United at home. We pulled that off without necessarily our strongest 11 at the time. So injuries, suspensions, not having key players, bust-ups, these are all things that are part and parcel of the transfer of being a footballer or being a manager or whatever. So we're just going to have to get on with it, really and truly. Like, it's essentially that, really. As you can see, I'm dropping links, people, where, we've got a jam-packed day of content starting today. Obviously, we're watching Liverpool versus Chelsea. Liverpool-Chelsea's on Saturday. We're watching Man City Spurs later today. Sunday, we're watching Man United Arsenal. 7:50 for Man City Spurs. 12 o'clock on noon on Saturday for Liverpool Chelsea. I'll be live an hour, as I always do, an hour before kickoff for the Arsenal game. I think Arsenal Man United is at 4:30, so I'll be live from 3:30. So yeah, it is what it is. Again, I kind of covered the initial Fabrizio Romano when he talked about Trossard as well. Trossard almost complete. Fabio tweet. Bloody hell, Fabrizio, allow me, man, because now I'm going to have to cut up the stream and get it uploaded. Fabrizio, allow me, man. I might have to turn his alerts on. Oh, that was 30 minutes ago. Do you know what? I've turned on notifications on Fabrizio Romano's Twitter. So, yeah, man. And I mean, Trossard rejected Spurs allegedly, so we have to run that, man. So that's got to be some brownie points, surely, for the guy, man. Apparently, Fabrizio has said Arsenal and Brighton are expected to reach an agreement soon. As reported today, personal terms have been agreed and other clubs have been informed of Trossard's decision. Come on, lie to us. Tell us Jude Bellingham is agreed to join us in the summer. Lie to us, man. Tell us a mad thing has been lined up. It seems like we're still haggling with Brighton over the price tag. You know, they're demanding £26 million, 30 million quid. We're trying to pay 20. There will be some loggerheads there. Arsenal, for Arsenal, Brighton might focus on, you lot he's Premier League proven. You lot are ready to spend 100 on Mudryk if Chelsea didn't turf you. We might have to leverage the fact of, he's got an option of another deal, but the man don't want to be there. Him and the manager are having a bust up, I don't know if it's an automatic clause or it's one of them that the club have to have a deadline or the player has to agree to the 1-year extension. But the summer, you're not going to get 20 odd million. We'll take him. While it looks a bit mad, 20 million basically for the last 6 months of his deal, excluding that 20 million on a 28-year-old, bro, it's calm, really and truly. He rejected Spurs. You gotta give man some brownie points for that one, man. Even if it's true or not, really, because again, this market, like always, it proves that you never know quite what is happening out here. So we'll have to see, man. If they bring in Fresno